Hi, welcome back. My name is Rena. Let's do a book review. This is Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is book 2 of the Crimson Moth duology. Book 1 is called Heartless Hunter. Starting off completely spoiler-free, I really loved this. I give this 5 stars. I have no notes on it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought this was such a fun, fast, bingeable read. It's not even short, but I flew through this. I read this in a day. I could not put it down. I had to take like a short break, and then immediately I was just thinking about this book and wanting to know what happened, and I was like, you know what? I gotta finish it tonight, and so I did. If you've read book 1, I think that this is a perfect continuation, to be honest. I feel like the style is very similar, the pacing is similar. Based on book 1, the expectations that I had in my mind for book 2, this book fulfilled them perfectly. This was everything that I could have wanted as a sequel to Heartless Hunter, and more, because I had no idea what I actually wanted to happen. The plot was great, the execution was great, the tension was there, and so if you read book 1 and you liked book 1 and you want more of that, book 2 absolutely delivers. The other thing you should know is that book 2 is the last book, so this is now a completed duology, so if you were holding off on reading it because it's not a finished series, now it is. Anyways, I highly recommend this, definitely encourage you to go check it out. Okay, next let's talk tropes. This, as well as Heartless Hunter, both have the enemies to lovers trope, and it is done so well. The premise of this is we're following our main character. Her name is Rune Winters, and she is a witch in a society that generally does not support witches. Witches used to be in charge, but those witches were very evil, and so once the people got free of them, they basically tried to get rid of all witches. And there's even like teams of witch hunters, of which is our MMZ. So he is a witch hunter, she is a witch. They have a really fantastic cat and mouse thing going on because Rune is not just like a witch existing peacefully. Rune is a troublemaker. Rune is trying to stir up and do things always. She cannot just like sit by and let things happen. She's trying to rescue other witches. She's trying to make things happen basically. And so in all of this, the witch hunters are very much after her. And in particular, this one witch hunter has been chasing her for a very long time. And then after everything that happened in book 1, which we're gonna just gloss right over to keep this very spoiler free, he is after her more than ever. And so there's this really fun enemies to lovers and also like chasing cat and mouse vibe between them. There's a lot of really great tension, and because of some of the stuff that happened in book 1, even though they technically hate each other, they also don't really hate each other, and they both know that deep down. So even though they are truly trying to thwart each other and push their own missions forwards, they kind of care about each other and they know that. And that is so fun. It's so well done. Again, I found this to be such a great bingeable read. This like absolutely consumed me. It's such a fun one. I was talking recently with a really good friend of mine about Heartless Hunter. She and I are in very different bookish spaces, and she was telling me that she hated Heartless Hunter, and I was like, I loved it though. So she told me that the reason she didn't like it is because Rune seems like she's supposed to be a lot more capable than she actually is. And I do think that that kind of continues in this book too. Rune is supposed to be this like super powerful, clever witch who outwits everyone and rescues all the witches. And then she finds herself making like the silliest mistakes and getting into the most unnecessary situations. That does continue to happen here. I think you have to suspend some disbelief, or at least I did. I feel like Rune, even though she does seem very powerful and clever and capable, she also to me feels very young, and so I think I kind of balance it with that. And also Gideon is obviously a huge weakness for her, where she like just is not really thinking as straight as she normally would be, and vice versa for him. So I think that kind of excuses a lot of the mistakes and situations that they find themselves in, but I could see how that might be frustrating. If that bothered you about Heartless Hunter, that absolutely does continue to happen in Rebel Witch, but if you were able to get through it in Heartless Hunter and just kind of roll with it, then I think you'll still enjoy Rebel Witch, because I definitely, even though that is true, I feel like I didn't notice it too much. Tropes in this include enemies to lovers, witch hunter, fake marriage, forced proximity, the trope where one of them has dreams about the other one, FMC who can save herself. They both save each other a lot, honestly. I don't know if that counts as a trope. There's who did this to you. There's like kind of mention of good girl. There's a fuck it moment. It's dual POV. It has a pretty unique magic system. It's fantastic. You should go read it. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and spoil things. So only keep watching if you have read this book or if you are okay with hearing spoilers. It's so fun that this is dual POV, so you can kind of see both of their perspectives and how they're both like, oh, I can't trust them, I have to betray them first because they would never trust me. And just seeing the ways that they each kind of know each other, it's so good. It was everything to me. I thought this book was so much fun. I really love their like tension and banter. The fake wife part was so fun, with them both being jealous, with Gideon being jealous of William, and then Rune also being jealous of Abby. It was so good. Oh, chef's kiss. I know it's like kind of tropey and whatever. I loved it. I ate it up. Give me more. So the book starts off with Gideon basically on a kill mission to kill Rune. He needs to assassinate her. He needs to redeem himself. And he's also so jealous because she's about to get married to this prince. It's so fun seeing Gideon jealous. And I also love that later on we also get to see Rune jealous. I really actually enjoy the jealousy trope. And I also love that Rune kind of like always has this mask on, and then when she ever lets it down, that's what Gideon is really drawn to. So when he goes to kill her, she happens to have her mask down and he can't do it. He's like filled with the urge to comfort her, which is actually hilarious when you think about that he's supposed to be killing her. I feel like this book, the entire way through, it's just one of them getting into trouble and then the other one bailing them out, even though it makes no sense for them to do so. They just care about each other and they know that, even though it's kind of going against their mission and everything that they're trying to do. And it goes both ways. I love that. The back and forth is so good. So it's not just like Rune constantly outsmarting Gideon and Rune constantly helping Gideon. It's both. She'll like help him out immediately from the start. She helps him out, and in the process, she's gonna get caught for helping him and then be in trouble. And so he helps her, and it just continues the whole book through. It's so good. I really enjoyed that kind of like trade-off that they had. I love that they came to a deal and did kind of like the fake hostage situation. And I also love that they ended up in a fake marriage situation. That is such a fun trope. I really enjoyed it. And I really liked how it was done in this one too. There's a lot of good moments because of the fake marriage where they have like forced proximity or they're like faking affection publicly. That's always really fun. There's like moments where the lines are blurred and they're like, wait, he's only doing this because he's faking, but is he really? And then I love that Gideon comes around and is secretly helping Rune. And I love that he knows what she would do, so he's able to kind of secretly help her without her realizing it. The moment where she escapes on the sailboat with the Sybil and then finds out that actually Gideon knew that that was going to happen. He basically called off the guards by giving them a false lead. And so that allowed Rune to escape on the sailboat. Like he knew that she would. And the proof that Gideon knew is because he like left behind a token and a little note for her that they only find, that the Sybil only reveals to her later once they've made their journey. But that was so good. That was so precious and wonderful. He knows her so well. I really love when the MMC knows the FMC better than she knows herself. She's like going through things, going through her identity crisis, and he's like, I know who you are and like what is right for you. And he's right, and he does. Even from the start, he calls out her marriage with the prince. He's like, this is not what the Crimson Moth would want. And then later at the end, where she's like having second thoughts and she's scared and she wants to run away, and he knows what to give her, how to support her, and what she'll need. And he also knows that if he were to go with her, that's not actually what she would want, even though that's what she's saying that she would want. One thing I will say is I cannot believe that this is YA. When I was the age that you're supposed to be reading, like I think this book is geared towards 13 through 18, I feel like I was not reading books like this at that age. Not that I think it's like too inappropriate or anything, but I was a little bit surprised. I do wish that this was a little bit longer. I wish that they got into more of wisdom, like letting Rune have a moment with wisdom or Seraphine and kind of fleshing that out, because Seraphine has been like in Rune's life forever. She uncovered all this stuff about her past, and I feel like they didn't really have a moment to really go through it as deeply as they would want to, because, you know, they're in the middle of a war. But I would have loved to see that. I also would have loved to see a little bit more about like this new world that they've set up. I feel like the ending was kind of abrupt. Like as I was getting close to the end of this book, I was kind of stressed out. I was like, we have a lot to resolve. There's a lot that needs to happen and very few pages left to do it, because we spent a lot of time on all of this tension and banter and fake marriage and everything. And I loved that and I ate it up, but I need this last chunk to also give me that same level of detail. I do feel like the last bit just kind of like, we wrapped it up real quick, but I'm not going to hold that against the book, because obviously wishing it was longer is a great thing. I feel like there's probably some things in this that didn't make the most sense, but to be honest, I'm very much a Passenger Princess reader where I'm going to just enjoy and read and not mind unless there's something that's like super duper glaring. So I very much enjoyed this. The ending to this also was crazy. I kind of saw it coming, like I knew that Rune was going to have to die and then that they were going to bring her back with Cressida's body. That being said, even though I knew how the ending was going to go, I was still very much like on the edge of my seat as Gideon was shooting Rune and Rune had to die and then be brought back to life. That whole thing was very dramatic, and even though I knew that it was coming, I was like very stressed out about the whole thing. Overall, really fantastic book, really cool world. I feel like I haven't talked as much about the specific magic system because it's not new to Rebel Witch specifically, but the magic system is really, really cool, where the witches basically need blood in order to cast spells, and there's like different levels of spells and there's different powers associated with it depending on whose blood it is and how you got it, how willing the person was. I also really appreciate that they talked about Alex in this, because I do feel like that was kind of a crazy ending at the end of Heartless Hunter. There's like this kind of love triangle thing going on, even though you're rooting for the enemies to lovers vibe. And then he's also his brother. It just felt kind of hard. Like I was rooting for Gideon anyways, but I understood the struggle and I did not know how Rune was going to resolve it. Then Alex dies and it's like, oh, okay, I guess you don't have a love triangle anymore because one of them is dead. That's one way to do it. So I'm glad that they kind of addressed that and talked about it, and Rune basically explained to Gideon that she was never truly in love with Alex, but she thought that she could get there, and he kind of like honored his brother, and I feel like Alex even brought them closer together. So I think that was actually handled really, really well. Overall, I clearly really enjoyed this book. I think if you like romantasy, enemies to lovers, any of those tropes that I mentioned in the trope section, and you're able to suspend a little bit of disbelief, you are going to eat this up. So go check out this duology. Again, it's finished now, and it is so good. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know down below, have you read Heartless Hunter and or Rebel Witch? And if so, what did you think?